Have you ever seen a rap icon so overwhelmed that he'd abruptly cancel a massive tour and leave everyone guessing why? Drake, once celebrated for topping charts and selling out arenas, has sparked a firestorm of rumors with his recent, jaw-dropping decision to end the Anita Max Win Tour in the blink of an eye. Fans everywhere are asking, is this about dwindling ticket sales? Or something far deeper? And how does Kendrick Lamar, who's been riding an unstoppable wave of triumph, fit into this spiraling saga? In today's video, we'll uncover what really happened behind the scenes, from the telltale signs that Drake felt overshadowed by Kendrick, to the bizarre meltdown moments on stage, and the surprising hints that Drake might be stepping away from his musical passion altogether. Stick around, because by the end, you just might wonder if rap's beloved superstar has reached his breaking point, or if he's orchestrating a strategic move we've never seen before. Not too long ago, Drake's Anita Max Win Tour was set to be a highlight reel of his career, at least that's what early marketing promised. The announcement initially generated plenty of hype, especially among longtime supporters eager to see the artist revisit classic anthems and deliver new music live. Yet, out of nowhere, an official statement declared the entire tour cancelled, leaving fans flustered and disappointed. The immediate rumor was that low ticket sales had sunk this ambitious plan, but even that explanation felt incomplete. After all, Drake has headlined monstrous events for over a decade, and while times change, it was strange that a few empty seats would compel him to pull the plug so drastically. Could there really be something else at play? Several insiders began whispering that there were deeper issues, a swirl of personal frustrations, brewing feuds, and a sense that Drake's heart simply wasn't in it. It was as if the low sales narrative was merely a cover, concealing a massive iceberg beneath the surface. And the more fans dug, the more they realized those whispers might be pointing toward a bigger truth. Some say fame can become a double-edged sword, and if anyone knows that firsthand, it's Drake. For years, he dominated playlists, broke streaming records, and established himself as a household name in the rap industry. But 2022 and 2023 flipped the script. Kendrick Lamar rocketed into the spotlight with high-profile achievements, from a stunning Super Bowl halftime show appearance to triumphant Grammy moments that seemed to confirm he was at the top of his game. Suddenly, Drake was forced to share the stage of public perception with someone who was winning everywhere critically, commercially, and culturally. Imagine trying to outshine an artist on such a colossal hot streak. Observers noted that Drake increasingly displayed signs of frustration, struggling to maintain his usual invincible image when placed side by side with a rival who just kept rising. Perhaps it was the comparison that weighed him down, or maybe it was seeing Kendrick stack a claim in a way that made Drake feel like he'd lost momentum. Either way, fans began to detect small cracks in the facade moments on social media, interviews with subtle jabs, and cryptic statements that alluded to an intensifying rivalry. Before long, those cracks widened into the meltdown we're about to explore. As the Anita Max Win Tour kicked off, people expected electrifying performances, a rapper at the height of his powers showcasing new and classic hits. Yet, attendees were shocked by how strangely these shows unfolded. Instead of hearing Drake passionately perform his most celebrated tracks, crowds saw him meander around the stage while a DJ blared pre-recorded vocals. It felt less like an immersive concert and more like a glorified karaoke event. Some fans held up signs pleading for gifts or handouts from Drake, hoping he'd acknowledge them. Rather than refocusing on the music, he sometimes fed into the theatrics, pausing entire sets to comment on whatever was written on those posters. Meanwhile, actual live rapping grew rare. Tracks like Nokia, the type of song that had previously galvanized his supporters, were played without Drake truly performing them. It was as though he'd lost the excitement needed to deliver a top-quality show. Even more concerning, Drake used what little time he spent on the microphone to voice his frustration about the music industry, about other artists, and seemingly about life in general. Instead of uplifting the crowd, these sporadic rants felt like outbursts from someone at his wit's end. But was this truly a breakdown, or was something else going on? In multiple leaked clips, concertgoers can be heard chanting profanity-laced insults at Kendrick Lamar. Rather than de-escalating the negativity, Drake appeared to embrace it, lingering on stage and even signaling for the crowd to repeat those vulgar jabs. Some eyewitnesses said his body language gave away a sense of twisted pride, like he was relieved to find a pocket of people who shared his anger at Kendrick's success. Consider how contradictory this behavior was. Drake had recently been telling the public that he was done with all the drama and preferred not to feed into the rap game's typical feuds. Yet here he was, seemingly delighting in fans mocking one of his biggest rivals. To many, it showed how deep the bitterness ran. Moments like these shifted the audience's perspective on the entire performance. No longer was the spotlight on Drake's music or showmanship, it was on his attitude and the strong animosity he displayed toward Kendrick Lamar. Some supporters cheered him on, enjoying the real-time spectacle of an agitated superstar. But others felt uneasy this was hardly the cool, confident Drake they remembered. It was more like a vent session in front of thousands, with the music serving as a flimsy backdrop. Here's the million-dollar question. Is Drake genuinely spiraling? Or is he using these controversies to keep his name trending? Time and again, we've seen public figures harness drama to boost visibility. In the digital era, heated debates, viral rants, and over-the-top antics can drive massive clicks and conversation. If Drake were aiming to overshadow Kendrick Lamar's achievements, stirring up a flurry of online chatter could be part of a broader plan. On the other hand, longtime fans argue that Drake's outbursts don't look calculated at all. They seem too raw, too uncontrolled. The abrupt cancellation of the tour suggests a disorganized retreat, not a well-executed publicity move. After all, a rapper known for polished albums and meticulously planned rollouts wouldn't throw in the towel mid-tour without a fallback plan. This points more toward an emotional meltdown than a cunning PR strategy. Whatever the case, one thing's certain, Drake's credibility has taken a noticeable hit. Critics question whether he's more concerned with venting at Kendrick than honoring his craft and pleasing loyal listeners who came for the music. Meanwhile, Kendrick keeps racking up accomplishments, fueling the perception that Drake's effort to stage a comeback may have veered into uncharted territory. Amid all the drama on stage, whispers of looming legal battles started circulating. While details remain murky, rumors point to Drake focusing heavily on a lawsuit, one that might revolve around creative rights, alleged defamation, or the broader aftermath of these public spats. Could this be the key reason he scrapped his performances? Some sources claim Drake is convinced that winning legally is his best shot at regaining lost ground. If he can't surpass Kendrick Lamar in straightforward music competition through tours, album streams, or Grammy trophies, perhaps he's banking on a paperwork triumph. It's a peculiar strategy, but in a rivalry this heated, nothing seems too far-fetched. However, legal disputes are time-consuming and costly. If Drake chose to sacrifice a money-making tour for courtroom wrangling, it suggests he's betting everything on a single angle. Fans who once viewed him as a dynamic performer might wonder why he'd invest so much energy into a lawsuit instead of delivering classic hits and new favorites that could have reaffirmed his star power on stage. Since Drake pulled the plug on the Anita Max Win tour, there's been little indication of renewed promotional efforts for his latest album or even hints at a fresh music video release. At best, we've seen occasional social media teases, but nothing that solidifies a robust marketing push. If anything, it seems like the moment the album failed to reach sky-high numbers, Drake lost all enthusiasm for championing it. Observers recall how, back in the day, Drake poured his soul into every project. He'd release behind-the-scenes footage, do late-night performances, and hop on interviews to talk passionately about his new work. Now, that energy feels absent. Instead, the biggest headlines revolve around rumored feuds, overshadowed concerts, and cryptic digs at Kendrick Lamar. Could it be that Drake, the artist who once owned the summer with unstoppable anthems, has become jaded? If he's no longer motivated to perform live or fight for chart dominance through his music, one has to question what his endgame is. Is he pushing aside the art form that made him a legend in favor of legal scuffles and sporadic online drama? Or is he simply waiting for the perfect moment to mount a grand return? For many, this sudden shift is disheartening. After all, Drake's entire identity once revolved around heartfelt lyrics, catchy melodies, and emotional vulnerability traits that endeared him to millions. To see him step away from that core identity for the sake of petty rivalries leaves a bitter taste. Yet some insist he's just recalibrating, and we'll soon see him come back stronger than ever. Only time will tell. Drake's canceled tour might have been triggered by low ticket sales, but all the peculiar onstage rants, the hostility toward Kendrick Lamar, and the lurking legal battles hint at a bigger story, one where disappointment and envy have collided with unwavering pride. We've witnessed a once unshakable artist openly unravel under the weight of competition, seemingly prioritizing personal vendettas over the music that once spoke to our hearts. In the end, it raises tough questions about Drake's future in hip-hop and whether he's inadvertently tarnishing his own legacy. Is this the moment he definitively steps back from the art form he ruled for so long, trading lyrical excellence for controversies and lawsuits? Or are we simply in the eye of a storm, waiting for Drake to re-emerge with a fresh perspective and renewed ambition? One thing's for sure. The rivalry with Kendrick Lamar isn't fading anytime soon. As Kendrick continues to thrive breaking boundaries in performance, sweeping up honors, and expanding his cultural reach, Drake seems to be spiraling in the opposite direction. But in rap, as in life, redemption arcs can happen when we least expect. For every meltdown or canceled show, there's a chance at a comeback. So, what do you think? Could Drake's dramatic withdrawal be part of a master plan to shift the conversation, or has he sincerely lost his passion for the craft that once made him the quintessential hip-hop icon? Let your voice be heard in the comments. If you've made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because there's more to uncover about this jaw-dropping power struggle. And if you thought this was the peak of the drama, buckle up. Rap's most intense rivalry might only be warming up.